Willie D Live.
What do you think about the colorism that people are alluding to in hip hop, especially as it regards in regard to Drake? But a lot of people are saying, well, Drake ain't black. You know,
Yeah.
his mama is white, his
Yeah.
daddy is black,
Yeah.
and when you think about that, I know your mom
Yeah.
was white,
Yeah.
and your dad was black.
Yeah.
What do you think when people say that he's not black because he has a white mother and a black
You know what?
father?
I don't think that. I don't think that's fair. I mean, they could say that. They could say that about me. You know what I mean? Isn't it about?
I do.
Isn't it about? Thank you, black guy. Like, isn't it about how you grew up and where you grew up and the circumstances within how you grew up? I don't think it's as simple as that. Maybe it was at some particular time, but trust me, any of the battles that biracial people have to go through, I had to go through. But you just have to be who you are. And for me, it was okay. Apart from who my parents are, all right, who raised me? What is the environment that I grew up in? Who am I around? Who have I been around? Who taught me about life? And for me, it's real easy. I mean, my mom's was white. She's a great lady, but she died when I was young, and I was raised by my father, my Jamaican father, who, that's the only family that I really know.
What side was more accommodating to you? What side
There
was
was
more
only
receptive?
one side. The black. Let me tell you something. When my mother and father were never married. They met in New York. They were both social workers. It was the '60s. Not a great time to have a biracial kid, right? But that's what happened. All right. So my mother was Irish. She had these old school Irish parents. When they found out that she was pregnant by a black guy, they threw her out the house. They disowned her. So I never met them. So I don't know them. And so I never missed them. You can't really miss anything that you never knew. You know what I'm saying? So it was just me and her. And she wasn't even fucking with my dad neither, because he was Jamaican. He was slinging it like, Raymond St. Jock. He was all over the place. So it was just me and her until she untimely passed away when I was 9. And then my father scooped me up and was like, this is how we going. So that's the only family that I've ever known.
Kid, what is it like, though? What is it like, just your overall experience going through life, in your skin as a product of an interracial relationship?
You know what? I joke about it now. I even put it like in my comedy now, because when you're growing up, especially like I said, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. So, I was an oddity. You know what I mean? I was in some ways an outcast. But like I said, I just kind of trusted, like, who am I around all the time? Who's teaching me about life? It was always black people. How did I meet Play? Because my father brought me and planted us in a very black neighborhood in Queens, New York, in East Elmhurst. So that's where I'm at, and that's where I felt comfortable, and that's where, who knows? I don't know if Play was skeptical about me or whatever like that, but I was always like, yo, I went where I felt comfortable. I went where I felt loved, and when people like Play New Neighbors or whatever, man, they embraced me. They were just like, okay, he's got big thick glasses. He looks kind of goofy, but you know what I mean? And that, so I always gravitated to where I felt comfortable, and I never looked back, And the one thing I will say is, and I'm grateful for that, the kids that grow up today that are biracial, I don't think they have to go through what I went through. They don't.
Not
You know
as
what I
much,
mean?
but they
Yeah,
do-
my
but
kids
they
are
do
man.
that-
My
they
kids
do
are
have their
biracial.
own-
My kids got Spanish and
They have
black
their
and
own
Jamaican.
battles, though.
Yeah, they do. But it certainly wasn't. It wasn't like it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think this younger generation, they don't even trip off of that. They don't trip off.
There's a tanning taking place.
Yeah, they
I
don't
mean,
trip
everywhere
off
I
of
go,
things
when you see
the way we
a
used
white
to.
woman and she has children, I see more and more that white woman with a black baby.
I mean, look at all the
see
commercials.
yeah,
all the
I
commercials
see
on television,
all of
everything
that,
is
yeah.
biracial. A lot of biracial things. And once you see when Madison Avenue, when the advertising agencies and that community, when you see them putting that into advertising, that lets you know, because all they do is research, and they look and see, okay, this is where the country is turning. This is where the world is turning. You know what I mean? It's like back in the days. You know when I knew hip hop had made it, when I heard Fred Flintstone rapping about Fruity Pebbles, I'm like, okay, Madison Avenue is on it. That means hip hop is here to stay. It's a factor. So yeah, I mean, my journey, when I look back at it now, it was tough. It was tough when I was young, but I always ended up where I was supposed to end up.